A battle took place between Ukrainian Sea-Baby drones and aircraft, helicopters, and Raptor missile boats of the occupying Russian army in the Black Sea, near Kerch Bay. This is stated in the information of the Security Service of Ukraine. Marine drones of Ukraine Sea-Baby, with machine guns mounted on them, fired on Russian helicopters and airplanes in Kerch Bay on the night of December 5 to 6. That night, a group of Ukrainian drones engaged in a battle with Russian helicopters, planes and patrol boats Raptor, which were trying to intercept them. The Russians sent helicopters to fight off the sea drones in the usual way, but they unexpectedly opened fire on them. As a result of the battle, the enemy suffered losses in killed and wounded. The helicopters received significant damage and require major repairs. These data became known by radio interception. As indicated, the Russian pilots considered themselves hunters and counted on an easy hunt, but they became the prey, because the sea drones opened fire in response. It is noted that the newest Sea-Baby were equipped with large-caliber machine guns with ballistic programs for automatic guidance and auto-capture of targets. The intercepted Russian radio exchange indicates that there are dead and wounded on board the helicopters. The helicopters themselves received significant damage and now require major repairs, Ukraine said. Also, Ukrainian drones reportedly hit a barge carrying military equipment and equipment for the repair of the Crimean bridge, which the invaders are still unsuccessfully trying to put in order after the past explosions of the Ukrainian Special Service. Russia will struggle to replace the increasing numbers of troops lost to death and injury on the front line if the West continues to back Ukraine, a U.S. think tank said. The Business Insider reported this. It is noted that the Russian military in November suffered record casualties, with around 1,500 troops killed or injured daily, as it pushed back the Ukrainian military in East Ukraine and Kursk Oblast, according to UK military intelligence. The figures from the UK's Ministry of Defence said that Russia suffered 45,690 casualties in November, the fourth consecutive month in which its casualties have increased. The Institute for the Study of War said that the staggeringly high cost of deaths and injuries isn't sustainable. Russia's constrained labor pool is likely unable to sustain this increased casualty rate in the medium term, and continued Western military support for Ukraine remains vital to Ukraine's ability to inflict losses at this rate, said the analysts in their daily update on the progress of the war. Petro Chernik, a Ukrainian military observer, told Army Inform that Russia has boosted its recruitment rates to around 42,000 a month. However, it will need to increase that to 50,000 a month if it is to continue its advances in Donetsk, sustaining its current casualty rates. At the same time, Russia is suffering an acute domestic workforce shortage. Reuters reported in November that increasing numbers of workers are being pulled into Russia's growing defense sector, meaning that swaths of the economy are struggling to find staff. High inflation and sanctions are compounding Russia's economic woes. The Kremlin is offsetting its high losses in Ukraine by offering recruits relatively lucrative contracts and boosting ranks with prisoners and foreign fighters. But Russia can't both replace its troops lost in Ukraine and solve its workforce crisis, said the ISW. Russians can either serve in uniform in Ukraine or work in Russia's domestic economy, but they cannot do both simultaneously, its analysts said. Weapons from Western allies have been vital in enabling Ukraine to inflict massive casualty rates on Russia, even as severe manpower shortages of its own mean that it's struggling to hold off intensifying Russian attacks. Russia has also been sending troops into head-on, high-casualty attacks, known as human wave or meat grinder attacks, which have contributed to a high casualty count. Military bridging operations are playing a crucial role in shaping battle lines between Russian and Ukrainian forces this winter, as both sides face significant challenges from Ukraine's rivers, which act as natural barriers to heavy military vehicles, Forbes wrote. Russia has intensified its offensive operations over the past months to secure additional territory before potential peace talks after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump takes office in January. According to Forbes, Russian forces have reportedly established a company-sized bridgehead over the Oskil River in the Masyutivka-Zapadin area in eastern Kharkiv Oblast. Forbes notes that the Oskil River has been a key obstacle preventing Russian forces from capturing Kupiansk, a strategic hub for railways and highways. However, no reports indicate the construction of a bridge capable of supporting assault vehicles, and some sources suggest the bridgehead has already been destroyed. The Dnipro River remains contested in southern Ukraine, with Russia controlling the east bank and Ukraine holding the west bank following Russia's withdrawal from Kherson. Forbes reports that despite Ukraine establishing a bridgehead on the eastern bank last year, they couldn't construct a bridge and eventually abandoned the position. Russian forces are now attempting to control islands in the Dnipro River